Hey everybody, it's EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am sneaking in today to do another 5 Fast cards featuring this month's January subscription kit from White Rose Crafts. This is the second video in my 3-part series where I show you 5 cards in each of the 3 parts that you can quickly and easily make using this kit. So if you are intimidated by the idea of a full crafting kit, hopefully, and breaking it down how to be easier to do. For my first card, I am layering some of these gorgeous papers. This month's love story kit is filled with the possibility of romance. So you can kind of do what you want and how you want. Now I've cheated just a little bit. I broke out some black cardstock, but I figured most of us have black cardstock. I normally try to keep everything that I create from the kit, but it really needed some matting, so I pulled out the black. And I think the card is much sharper because of the black cardstock. But, like I said, I think the impact is there because I use the English, not my strong point. For this first card, I did break out and show you how I trim things up. For the rest of the cards in the series, I don't pull out, maybe one of them I do, but I don't pull out my paper cutter. I do that off screen, just to keep things moving along quickly so you can quickly see the 5 Fast cards and you're not stuck watching me trim paper, because no one likes that. You are stuck watching me peel score tape because I am out of adhesive that quickly rolls out. New Year resolutions, find a good adhesive gun. I apologize for the lighting. I redid my workspace over the holidays and one of my lamps broke. And I ordered a new one and it showed up not working, which was lovely. Really, really made me happy. So now I'm having to work with what I've got, but I wanted to get this video out anyway because the January kit is shipping and I want you to see all the great options there are with it. I used 2 of the stickers on this card and realized it still looked a little plain, so I pulled out the stamp set included in the kit and stamped out a couple of the image using the Scrapberry Stains ink. The Scrapberry Stains ink is water reactive, but I just used it as it is, and I kind of love the muted presence that it gave that bit of gray cardstock. I added just a few of the included floral rhinestones and called this card complete. I hope you see as well as I do how much the black cardstock really impacted the overall feel of this cardstock. For card 2, I pulled out the textured card frame that comes in the kit, as well as the envelope, and this bit of Aspire paper that I had used in the first series of my 5 Fast cards. I had die cut out a heart out of the Aspire paper. And I, kept it around knowing that there'd be plenty of scraps. Well, I kind of love the look of the heart cutout. So I decided to use the leftover negative space and see what I could make out of it. I trimmed off some of this gray. Oh, sconce is the wrong word. Anyway, some of this gray paper I trimmed into little 1/2-inch panels and then assembled them onto the pink card frame. I trimmed down the Aspire paper just a smidgen, and I swear the paper cutter is going away here in a moment. And realized that, yes, this too would benefit from a little black matting. Now, you're going to see me make a boo-boo. I make a mistake. I trim off too much of the black paper, leaving no matting on the second side of the card. However, you'll see me there is a way to fix this when you make these kind of mistakes, and I show you how to correct the error. So here I trim at the first side, and this side I do just fine. It's the second side here that, see, I cut off too much at the top. So I snagged a bit of leftover black scrap, added a little score tape to it, and then added it to the top of the card. Now if you look really closely, you can see the demarcation line between the 2 different papers. But you gotta look for it. I did decide I wanted the heart cut back out so that the pink paper would show through. And then I played around a little bit with Oh, I figured I'd cut the heart out. Let's see if it works. So I punched out all the little pieces. Now with this die, it's an incredibly intricate die. You need a good cardstock. You can die cut paper with it. It's just not going to be as crisp and clean as you would like it. A good quality cardstock really benefits the die cut. I decided I was originally going to keep the square, but once I turned it on that angle, I realized there was something special happening. So, adding a little score tape, I added the card stock to the card frame and pulled out my scissors to trim off what excess was hanging off. Now, in the trimming off, I realized, wait a second, I might have an idea here. And added it to the second side, trimmed it off again, and loved the effect that I created here. Finally, using the Nuvo drops that are included in the kit, it's the clear morning dew. So it dries clearish, it dries shiny, but it works great as a glue if that's what you have on hand. A glue and adhesive. And I added the heart so that the point lined up with the other point, and then trimmed off the excess. I realized I wanted a sentiment on here, but I didn't want to stamp the sentiment, so I pulled out another sentiment sticker and realized that the pink really matched nicely. But I did want to do something nice with the card, with the envelope for the card. So I added the sentiment inside the card and then added a little bit of the sentiment around the envelope from the stamp set included in the kit. Like I said, I knew I just kind of wanted something simple on the envelope so it wasn't plain and boring. And there you go, card 3. Card 3, I wanted to use more of the ephemera from the 12 by 12 ephemera sheet. Now you have to fussy cut out the ephemera on this sheet, but there's tons of things to play with. So I trimmed up a couple of printed papers included in the kit and these 3 tags. And I wanted to use the tags in a layering effect. Now, I pulled out I think it's my 1/8 inch punch, and hole punched out the holes, and I cheated again. I snagged a brad from my personal collection of 9 million brads, because I've had them for a bazillion years, and bradded the 3 tags together, because I wanted to. I could have, however, and I realized it after the fact, I could have adhered down the 3 tags to the card frame and then used like the rhinestone flower as a faux brad, and it would work just as effectively to the idea that I had here. So don't think, oh, I don't have a brad, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You just got to get creative on what you use for the brad. I do like that each of the tags still has a little bit of movement to it based on how I adhered it. I felt the card needed a little something more, so I fussy cut out one more of the ephemera that matched the blue tag in the middle and popped it up with some 3-dimensional tape. It's a simple card, but I think it works nicely for any occasion, not just Valentine's Day. For card 4, I thought I'd play around with White Rose Craft's January sketch and create a card using the January Love Story subscription kit and the January sketch challenge together at the same time. If you're not familiar with White Rose Craft's White Rose Craft sketch challenge, every month they introduce a new sketch on their Facebook gallery, and you can load up projects being inspired by the sketch to the folder in the White Rose Crafts Facebook gallery. At the end of the challenge, the powers that be pick a random participant to win a gift card. Now, I'm not eligible for it. However, but I liked the sketch, and I thought it would be really fun to show how this month's subscription kit is perfectly suitable for this layering kit, or this layering sketch. I really, really, really like how the papers in this month's Love Story subscription kit really are different, but yet coordinate so nicely together. I fussy cut out another piece of the ephemera from the 12 by 12 sheet, this time just a little present, and adhered it onto the project and pulled one more sentiment sticker off the sticker pack to be my sentiment for the sketch. I pulled out the Nuvo drops and added just a few little dots on the bottom of the layered papers, and then realized I needed a couple sequins to finish the sketch off nicely. So I pulled out the exclusive to this kit pack of Sparkle Blend sequins and just grabbed 3 coordinating ones and glued them on, again using that Nuvo drop, to the whole card frame. If you don't have a craft, okay, so I hated working with sequins forever because I didn't have a good way to apply them. So I got a craft pick, or I don't even think that's what it's called, but it changed everything for me. There is the sketch for card number 3. For card number 4, I wanted to play around with the specialty paper and these banners that are in the ephemera kit. So I I fussy cut out the banners and trimmed up the papers so that they could be layered onto each other. I wanted the specialty, metallic is not the right word, the specialty paper to go on the bottom. It is so bright and shiny that I thought layering something on top of it would really benefit taking some of the shine out. However, I laid it down very crooked. The good news is I didn't press things down real hard and was able to pull it back up and reapply the paper. I probably should have gotten a new card frame, but I made it work. Don't panic when you mess things up. Try to see if you can fix them, and I did here. It's no longer crooked. The card works. The card frame, yes, while I tore up a little of the card frame, I recovered where I tore up. I realized before I laid down the pink printed paper that I wanted to string up the banner, and I had initially thought about tucking it up into the paper, but I wanted to string it up, so I pulled out some simple thread that I have from sewing. It's literally what I use to darn things. We have children who get holes in stuffed animals. I still darn a lot of stuffed animals in my house. And I strung the banner up through, and I think it's just 3 or 4 layers of string, so that way they clearly were hanging. Initially I thought, oh, I'm going to let them free flow. That was a bad idea. Letting them dangle on their own was never going to have the look I wanted, so I did end up using some score tape to adhere them down to the card, but I only used a little bit so that way it would dangle appropriately. Yeah, and now you gotta watch me fight the score tape because I have no fingernails at the moment. I might sometimes when I'm stressed bite my fingernails, and I bit them all off this month. So peeling up score tape has been exceptionally fun without fingernails. I will grow them back and stop chewing them like a child, I promise. So I did add just a bit of score tape to the back to adhere the string so it would stick and not move when I laid down the panel. However, I wasn't paying quite attention and realized that I pulled the string in a way that didn't make sense. So I luckily was able to fix it and correct the error prior to sticking down the panel. And I figured a couple of the large hearts included in the Sparkle Blend pack would finish this card off nicely. So I just adhered them down once again using those Nuvo drops. I know they're not really intended for adhering things, but they really do work. I want to thank you for peeking in today. These are the 5 fast cards that I created using the January Love Stories subscription kit from White Rose Crafts. Make sure you pop over to the website and see all that I got going on. There is connectors in the blurb below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting.